On December the 2nd, 2008, Damon Albarn and Graham Coxon did something they haven't done in a long time. They sat down for their first joint interview in over a decade, announcing that Blur were back. I'm Paul Stokes, NME's news editor, and I was invited up to a nondescript hotel room in Manchester to sit down with Damon Graham as they discussed their reconciliation, their friendship, and the future of Blur. It proved a revealing and honest interview, and following our cover story a few weeks ago, we thought you'd like to listen too. So join us for the next hour as we play back Damon and Graham's first interview since the comeback.
Damon and Graham. Yeah. How are you, chap?
Good, yeah.
So first off, I suppose the first thing is, what are we announcing here? Because obviously this is a news piece, which is going to be like, what are we telling the people?
Well, what we're announcing was a very good question. I don't think we're trying to announce anything. We're just, I don't know, we're just here.
Well, so what is it? You got some gigs, or it's just with the band, or what's the?
Well, we're just gonna play together again. We're gonna and try and play our favourite songs that we did. Simply
good.
In just because I think we just discussed it.
I know, yeah. Sorted out then.
I suppose we're making it sort of public, what's been going on a little bit privately, for the benefit of fans and those interested. That something's on the cards, I guess, and that.
Well, we're just going to play together again, and we will do something in London next year. Because that seems like a sensible thing to do, but we're also playing in other parts of England, working up to there, you know. Just because I think we want to, in a way, just retread our, I don't know what.
Well, the thing is that although it's been a few years since the situation has been this way, it actually doesn't. In years it's quite a while, but really emotionally it's just not very long at all. And I think we both have been, you know, doing other things that are for the benefit of ourselves rather than for the benefit of a band. And now we feel it in ourselves that it's kind of appropriate, and that we feel. You know, a year ago, 2 years ago, there's been rumours, but actually it didn't feel quite as good as right now.
No. It had to, you know, Graham and I found were very uncomfortable with each other and very oversensitive back 10 years ago, that whole period. It hasn't felt comfortable, and how you qualify that? Well, I don't know. That's every experience that we've been through, you know, and the world's been through, and you know, everything. It's all, you can't. It's just us kind of feeling comfortable again to go and play that music together hasn't been there in the world, and I don't know. It just feels like we should, you know, be accountable for that stuff and not just, you know, have it as a burden with.
Yeah, the question that always everyone wants to
it's just when the longer you can't. It was something that had to be sorted out between Graham and myself. It's something that goes right back to childhood, you know. So, but it's just really nice. We just feel comfortable doing this. It doesn't mean that it's the beginning of a huge, great statement. It's just really feel happy to play those songs together, and that's exciting, and it feels like a positive thing to do. But it's not like I don't know. I don't think it's anything more than that, is it? Really?
I think from the first part we didn't want to, you know, a long 10 years ago when things were getting very complicated and very busy, and we were both having some, you know, troubles and things, and it was our group. We didn't really want to hurt each other's feelings by saying, look, we need a break, and because we didn't want to do that, it got even more complicated and more difficult to actually to sort of communicate, I suppose. And I think what happened with this few years, or however many years it is that we haven't been working together, is that would have happened then or later. It would have happened along the line. And actually, I think it was a good thing that it happened then.
It's really important. I would hate to think what either of us would be like now if we hadn't gone away and addressed those things.
Yeah, but there was changes we needed to both make for our own emotional, mental health.
Yeah.
Really, I think. And you see all these. You see a lot of.
I think what happened was it's just something people go through.
Yeah.
It's just that we had the context of us going through that was a very public thing, and we had to sort of dismantle that in a way, just to, something that people every day go through in their lives, and especially if you with people, family members in a way. Sometimes it's one of those things. It's just a very public way of doing it, but it's something. It's not an unusual thing, I don't think.
Well, I don't think the public as a whole really understand what it's like to be in a band, particularly a band when you've been mates at school, when you've gone all the way. It's not like you've set up a band as a
Well, just by saying you don't want to really do it at the moment, because it's a public thing. Something that's actually maybe quite a simple problem becomes so complicated. And
I was going to say, because a lot of in the last few years there's been a bit of like toing and throwing between two, perhaps through the press or forums and things like that. But is it nice for the pair of you to actually be talking to each other and saying, is that a refreshing?
There was rumours, and that created a sort of pressure. Really, we needed to just address our things between us without pressure, without rumours. And just do it naturally, how it just felt
neither of us rely on each other in any way now. And that is that means we can be like we were when we were kids, which is except we're not kids now. Who's kidding anyone?
That's the point. Really.
Yeah, of course it is.
The last few years, I think that's the transition, I suppose.
So when did
so it's actually that's all. It's nothing. I don't know. It's quite a pure thing, and then but then the context gets put in with the band, and it becomes something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like we've stopped it, and now we're just opening that Pandora's box up again, in a way. Because, but we feel we can handle it, and we will just genuinely enjoy it, and hopefully spread a bit of love or something.
We'll see it as we saw it more originally. That for what it is. And I definitely see it in the same way as I see when you form a group. For those reasons, we're doing it for those reasons. And because we really dig playing together.
Yeah.
And
I miss it. I miss that dynamic that Graham and I always had. It's great. And Dave and Alex were part of that dynamic that we always had. So it's very important that it all feels like that. Otherwise,
I was going to say, is that more important?
We can't do it unless it's I would never, as I said, I'd never ever thought of doing this ever again unless Graham was part of it, because it's just not fun otherwise. That is part of what I am. So I have, I feel like this is a very important thing. You can go around the whole world and do so, but if you can't feel comfortable with something that's very part of your life and family, then it's wrong. You should work on that, and I don't know. That for me is what it's about.
So it's interesting you say that, because one of the things I was going to ask you is, should we call this a reunion, or is it just part? Just
I don't
after?
know.
It doesn't feel like Blur ever ended. So
exactly. It's not a reunion. It's just. it's just the next part of whatever it is.
In the old days, people used to go, you know, in the 30s and the 20s, people used to go on expeditions for like 3 years,
exactly.
get caught in Brazil, in the middle of nowhere for years, fight diseases, and manage to get home to England somehow, you know. I don't think it's, I'm not saying it's quite the same as that, but, you know, there was expeditions we had to go on. It's not that Blur ever stopped, no. But we just did other things, I suppose.
Because it always felt right. I don't know, I just think it somehow feels that there's something for us to do again. We're not completely just sort of useless and pointless. We've kind of got a reason to exist. Don't know what that is. We'll find out next year. It's not like whether that's the case or not, you know.
And it's not like a reunion where we have, come back and we are peerless. A lot of people get back together and their peers from their original time, whatever, they're all gone, retired or died. You know, everyone is still there, the same groups, really.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, I mean, when you sort of said, you know, the point of this is, you know, to say publicly what's being maybe, you know, there's been rumours.
Well, we're not going to say anything publicly other than just play the music with all, like, you know, the love that we invested in it, you know? And also that interesting period in between where obviously something will manifest itself in that, because, you know, I'm not going on stage and just sitting at the front singing all the time. I'm not doing it, you know what I mean, because I love playing music. Yeah. So, you know, but at the same time I'm not going to be doing like 20-minute organ solos in the middle of
No, what I was going to say was, though, when did it sort of change in terms of like...
No, do you know what? Do you know what? I don't think we know anything about what it's going to sound like, do we? We don't, so it's pointless even saying that.
And that's great in a way, because then it's like if you would...
Well, that's the
if you'd done a record immediately...
That's the daunting thing.
What it would be like,
if there was anything about this that was daunting, it was that. And that only, you know.
It's just about how much we have. I mean, that's what Blur was anyway. Between records, when we had time to explore, we'd bring a little knapsack of bits back to the recording studio, and now we've got
so much
stuff. Bloody huge trunks full of bits and bobs.
Who knows?
Yeah, I was going to say, it wouldn't feel like the next chapter in Blur if you weren't in this position where you didn't know what was going to happen next, sort of thing, in terms of musically speaking.
Yeah. No, of course, yeah, that's always been like that, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean that was the thing when, you know, between us.
I know at the same time, but at the same time, well, we'll see what it sounds like. We just don't know what it's going to sound like.
It's going to sound better. I mean, I can play the guitar better.
I think I can.
But that might be a bad thing.
Well, no, exactly. I wouldn't say
because
we can
that's
do anything.
Everything we've done is public. When we started, I could hardly play the frigging guitar.
Well, I certainly
do you know what I mean? And
so in terms of then this building back to this thing, what have you been up to? Have you rehearsed yet? Have you just been
we haven't rehearsed at all.
Oh, really?
No. That's what I mean. That's why it's really silly us saying what it's going to sound like. Because I've got no idea.
What have we been doing about?
We play together. We play together a bit.
It's odd, I suppose.
So when did you start?
It's quite a nice feeling that is just around the corner, that's just down the line a little bit.
Yeah.
And this year is coming to an end. We've got winter to get through. Hopefully, we won't freeze to death. And then there's a lot to look forward to. Actually, it's nice.
So when recently did you guys start talking about this as a possibility, as opposed to whatever else you were talking about?
Well, as I say,
I don't know, you know, it's really very little was said in 2001 when we all decided to get out of the boat for a bit. I mean, personally to each other. There was no thrashing out and no arguments actually, and not much was said now either. It just felt like it. It just felt, well, it seems like we're in that in the same similar mindset, that this might be a neat thing to try out. And it's like, well then, are we? And like, yeah, no. And it was no big meeting or anything really.
No, because it's not really like that. It's not for those reasons. It's not.
Obviously, we had to dress all the rumours and things a little bit.